Welcome to our video lesson on subtracting integers using the number line. Please make sure you have your guided note out and you're taking notes as we go. Alright, to start, we're going to think about how addition and subtraction are related and what that means about which direction we would move on the number line. When we're adding a positive number, this is the last lesson. When we added a positive, we moved to the right. Well, since addition and subtraction are inverse or opposite operations, they're the opposite of each other. If we wanted to subtract a positive, we would have to move the opposite way from adding a positive, which means that to subtract a positive, we would move to the left on the number line because it's the opposite of what we did when we were adding the positive. Alright, let's talk about adding a negative. When we added a negative, we moved to the left on the number line. Well, that must mean when we subtract a negative, we must move to the right. And this is true because of the relationship between addition and subtraction. Alright, let's use these facts and look at what it would look like on the number line. Here's the number line. If a number is positive, we are subtracting a number that is positive, we move to the left or away from our positive numbers. So if we're subtracting a positive number, we're going to move to the left. If we're subtracting a negative number, we are going to move to the right, away from the negatives. Here are our steps. They're the same as for addition. You plot your first number, that's where you start. You determine your direction using the sign of your second number, and then you move as many spaces as the second number. Alright, let's do some examples. Now this example might seem very, very easy to you. However, we need to start here to make sure that you really understand it. Our first number, in this case our 7, is where we're going to start. So, I'm going to start by plotting our point at 7 on our number line. One second, please. Right there. Alright, then, because we have minus is like taking away, or subtracting, or becoming less. So what this means is we have 7 and we want to become positive 3 less. Positive 3 less. So because we don't want it to become more positive, we want to move in the opposite direction of our 3, which means we're actually going to move to our left because we want to take away that positive number. We want it to become less positive. So I'm going to move 3 spaces, 1, 2, 3 towards the negative because I want our number to become less positive. So my answer for 7 minus 3, which you already knew, is 4. Alright, let's do another example. Here I have negative 7 minus 3. If you compare this question to our last question, the only difference is this negative sign here, which means the only difference in this question is where we start. Remember, our first number is where we start. So this time, instead of starting at positive 7, we're going to start down at negative 7. So negative 7 is down here. And again, we want our number to become less positive because our second number is positive. So we're taking it away. We want it to be less positive, which means, again, we're going to move in the same direction to the left. And we're going to move 3 spaces because our second number is 3. So I'm going to move 3 spaces, 1, 2, 3, to the left to get our answer that negative 7 minus 3 is negative 10. Alright, another example. We have 7 minus negative 3. So I'm going to plot our first number. Our 7 is where we're going to start, over here. And then I'm taking away -3. If we're taking away a negative, we want something that's less negative, because our takeaway sign here means less, or become less, minus, take away. So we want something that will become less negative, because our second number here is negative. So that means we're going to move to the right. And we're going to move 3 spaces to the right, because we want to move away from our negatives down here. We want it to become more positive. So I'm going to take away -3 and move 3 spaces to the right, which means that 7, this one is a little bit weird for some people and it's hard to visualize it, but 7 minus -3 is actually +10, because I'm taking away a negative and I want it to become less negative. One final example. We're going to start where our first number is, so I'm going to plot my point at -7. Then it says minus, or take away, -3. Okay, so remember that our takeaway means becoming less, or move away from. And we want it to move away from our negatives. So that means that our answer needs to move towards the positive, because we're trying to become less negative. So that means we're going to move towards the positives, 1, 2, 3. So -7 minus -3 is equal to -4. Alright, it's your turn to try some practice on your own and see how you do. If you have any questions, please let me know. I'm here to help you. That's all for now. I'll talk to you later.